Hello, everyone. My name is Julia Bruck, and I'm here with my colleague and co-principal investigator, Dr. Colleen Renahan, and some of our talented team of research assistants. Just below you, Cheryl Bruce, then Jessica Rosales, and Frank Yang. And we're here to talk about a SSHRC-funded research project that examines ways that we can make more accessible musicking opportunities for older adults. We are joining you from Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, which is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee people, and we are grateful to learn and live on these lands as we work towards reconciliation. We also want to take a moment to thank Dr. Jane Saunders and her team for putting together this research session, and the Amplify 2021 team, as well as the OMEA for all their hard work and dedication to music education.
Today we will be discussing some aspects of a weekly virtual program called Rise, Shine, Sing, and some of the ways that it enacted universal design for learning principles. Rise, Shine, Sing is a free music theater program geared towards older adults that has been running via Zoom since April 2020. We use the term music theater as a framing term to describe experiences that integrate singing with other theatrical elements, which in this case was mainly dance, although from time to time we also included story, costumes, and props as part of our sessions.
We want to explore ways that we can develop accessibility and inclusive music theater through Rise, Shine, Sing. We draw on literature describing universal design for learning principles, and will outline the ways we supported multiple means of presentation, action, and expression, and means of engagement through both the genre of music theater and the virtual environment. We situate this research within the work of other scholars that have described UDL principles in music learning settings, some of which you can see on the slide.
This research set out to address the question, how were UDL principles enacted in the virtual environment and through the nature of music theater making? We used a case study methodology to examine this program where we collected data through participant observer reflections, as well as observations of the sessions, questionnaire data to participants, and interview data from our participants at the end of the year.
Our participants were people who are mostly over the age of 50 and joined us from various places in Southern Ontario, as you can see from our map. We had some participants who joined as part of a recreation program at a long-term care home. Most were ambulant, although some of our participants used a wheelchair exclusively or had limited mobility. Each week, between 20 to 30 individuals attended our sessions.
Rise, Shine, Sing was initially designed to be face-to-face, but we pivoted to a virtual environment at the start of the pandemic. We recognized that our participants would have varying abilities to navigate the online world, so we tried to make the program easily accessible and safe. We also used both synchronous and asynchronous interactions, which included an emailed newsletter, a website, and opportunities to contribute to special projects. We selected the Zoom environment because of its ubiquity, our ability to have a one-click process for people to connect, and the ability to join via phone or the internet. We chose a meeting format rather than a webinar or live streaming app so that we could continue to interact with our participants in real time. The meeting format allowed us to have short conversations with our participants before our sessions. What we couldn't do was hear our participants sing. Because Zoom only allows one microphone at a time, we needed to mute our participants during the singing and dancing portion. We would ask for participants to self-assess and show us a thumbs up or down in terms of level of difficulty or pacing during the learning of the repertoire. Our participants, however, were free to experiment and sing without fear or judgment, and in fact, our questionnaire data revealed that 92% of our participants enjoyed singing with others. Similarly, the Zoom environment allowed them new types of agency and flexibility of use, as participants could customize the way they wanted to manage the resources and interact with others, turning on their cameras and the view they wanted, adjusting their volume, etc. These provided multiple entry points for engagement and participation. We found that participants engaged and used a variety of these resources, which you can see in the figure on the slide.
We wanted to enact UDL principles within the various music theater activities. The sessions were facilitated by both a dance and music instructor, and we aimed to teach the songs in a manner where we tried to integrate the two modes of expressions. The images on the screen are a list of the titles of some of our songs that were selected. We considered the singability and familiarity of the songs. Our dance facilitator similarly aimed to make the choreography straightforward, often aligning with a literal interpretation of the lyrics or simple movement to the beats, like swaying. We found that our desire to explore an art form that is composed of multiple modes of expression was helpful, as it allowed multiple entry points for participants. They could sing, dance, or do both. We also provided both a seated and standing version of the movement component to account for mobility differences and to provide choice.
Our questionnaire data indicated that participants felt that the singing and dancing were the right level of difficulty, but the combination of both was more challenging. The figure on the right indicates the level of difficulty perceived by the participants. The burgundy represents those who thought that the activity, singing, dancing, combining the two, or using props, was about right, and the blue figure represents the portion that felt it was too easy, while the gray portion represents those who thought it was too hard. We also asked participants to rate their levels of improvements in different aspects of music theater, which you will see in the second figure on the left. Here, we see that many indicated at least some improvement in all of the areas. These preliminary findings indicate that our multiple entry points and levels of engagement were providing appropriate and accessible opportunities for participants. Both the virtual environment and multiple entry points to the elements of music theater allowed us to enact universal design principles in a variety of ways, which you will see on the table. Our goal was to create an accessible opportunity in terms of both participants' ability to manage the virtual environment and in the program's activities. To do this, we attempted to remove technological, economic, personal, and geographical access barriers, as well as participation barriers in terms of the music and theater activities. For the latter, we created pathways that could be accessible by all and then embedded different types of challenge options throughout. The virtual platform also made for surprising allowances where UDL is concerned, as it embraced a new kind of agency that allowed participants to customize their learning environments and adjusted both singing and dancing based on cues and feedback from facilitators. Muting of all voices transformed the parameters by which we typically make aesthetic assessments of singing. Perhaps most significantly, we emphasized a multi-pronged model for success where participant-led choices of movement and musical participation allowed members to find success and challenge in a variety of artistic activities.
These research findings illuminate the need for more research to examine the accessible development and sustainability of virtual opportunities. More research and policy about the unique pedagogical skills and structures that are needed to support virtual programming also require more examination, such as team-based collaboration, ways of combining asynchronous and synchronous interactions, etc. We leave you now with a sample of our Rise, Shine, Sing program. This is our trailer video where you see pieces of our sessions that are showcased against one of the songs we learned, Seasons of Love, performed by our teaching and research team. We hope you enjoy it.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love?